All right, let's go ahead and install Git on a Chromebook. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to enable Linux on a Chromebook to be able to do this. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go into Settings. And then we're going to go into Advanced, Developers, and let's turn this Linux development environment on. Okay, if you've already done this, then great, you don't have to do it again. Otherwise, you'll have to do this in order to install Git, in order to install VSCode. But really, by enabling Linux on here, you'll be able to do almost everything that you could on other computers that we're used to doing development work on, or software development work on. All right, you can see it finished, and it popped up this little terminal that we can use for all sorts of different things. We're not really going to use it very much in this video. I guess I will just say git -- version right here. Wow, and Git is already installed by default here. So I was going to actually take you to the login page or the Git download page, but it looks like it's actually already installed. So that's really nice. So that is all that you had to do to make sure that you had Git. Let's go ahead and verify this. I'm going to see if I can, I'm just going to say VS Code download. And we'll go ahead and download, oops, that's the wrong Visual Studio. Let's see, VS Code. And I'll go ahead and download that one. I'll give that a sec. Now, when you activate Linux on a Chromebook, it'll actually make almost like a little virtual machine. And so all of your Linux files will be stored together in this Linux files place. And so anytime I want to use Git, I'll have to be within that. That's where my terminal will be, you know, and that's where all my development stuff will be. That's where I will install VS Code. You can see that right now it's installing this right here, but it says it's a Linux installer instead of the general installer that we use when we're installing regular files or programs onto a Chromebook. Okay, so it said installation is complete. Let's go ahead and see if we can just search for VS Code. Look at that. Okay, and with Git installed, we should be able to work with any like GitHub repository. So I'm just going to go to github.com. And I'm going to sign in here. Okay, VS Code is looking great. In here, let me just make that full screen. I'll close that. Let's see here. There we go. I'm like, we're missing stuff at the top. All right, so I'm just going to click on Terminal, click New Terminal. And then I should, oh look, that looks just like our Linux terminal. So we'll say git status. It'll say it's not a part of a repository. And so you can see these git commands are working out great. Okay. If I wanted to pull from a repository or something, I could after I sign in. I'll go ahead and ignore that. We have verified that Git is working in VS Code. Okay. And then if I was actually going to if I was going to continue developing on here, I'd go ahead and probably pin both of these, or at least I'd pin VS Code to this doc. For easier access. So, okay. Well, I hope that helps.